There are 8 games on Saturday. Let's preview them. One's a little bit early, so be aware of it. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and Pippen, no! Terrible accent. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky, joshloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Also, check out LockedOnDaily.com and sign up for the newsletter, the best newsletter for your favorite team heading into the playoffs, maybe heading into the lottery. You'll get stuff on draft prospects, you'll get stuff on playoff matchups, all of that free in your inbox for your favorite team. Also, double banging over here is a great way to support this show and me, and hopefully the information/fun that you may have had through the season. It is National Kansas Day. So if you are from Kansas, I want to see you hooting and hollering. In the chat, in the comments, tell me whereabouts. Manhattan? That's a place. That's a place in Kansas. I don't know, because I know that's where Kansas State is. You know what? I'm just trying to think now, and I am absolutely blanking on where Kansas University is. What is the name of the city? Why am I blanking? I know you're yelling at me. Where is that thing? It is annoying me. It is so obvious. What on earth is the name of that city? I had to look it up. It was annoying me. I knew it started with L. Lawrence. Lawrence. Are you in Lawrence? Are you in Manhattan? Are you in any other city in Kansas? It's National Kansas Day. Celebrate Kansas. Celebrate Kansas barbecue. Is that the best thing you guys have got? I don't know. You tell me. That's not what we're here for. It is a little bit what we're here for. Fun. Let's talk about Saturday. Like I said, there is an early game. It's not super early, but it is a little bit early. It's 1 hour early. It is a 6 p.m. Eastern start versus a 7 p.m. Eastern start. And that is a game in Brooklyn. 6 p.m. Don't know why, but it is happening. So just be ready for that. When you're setting your lineups, all right, we are going to talk schedule stuff, and then we're going to talk streaming, and because we're talking Saturday and then Sunday tomorrow, we're looking more at individual categories for category leagues, still the points league stuff that we usually do. Let's look at the schedule, though, because we are in a pretty heavy back-to-back period here. There are 7 teams that come into Saturday on a back-to-back, and that is important very clearly. The Celtics are going to be sitting guys. Porziņģis and Horford, assuredly, they're not playing 2 games. Brown, White, Tatum, no idea. But I would expect that some of those guys, not all, let's put it this way, Brown, White, and Tatum, and Holiday, let's put him in there as well. There's no way that all of those guys play 2 games. In fact, I would say that there's no way that even 3 of those guys play 2 games. The Nuggets, does Jokic sit a game? I don't think so. Aaron Gordon probably will, but just watch on Jokic. Rockets, Pacers, we're watching Tari Eason. What about Halliburton returning from his injury? What about Pascal Siakam? Does he sit one of the games? I don't know. Grizzlies and Heat, Jaren Jackson's miracle recovery. Does he play in both? Does Ja play in both with his busted shoulder? The Heat, I think, should be pretty okay. And then the Spurs, I don't think there'll be any problem there, although we do watch Chris Paul. One thing I'll say on the Spurs and the De'Aaron Fox thing, what I didn't say yesterday, I could not believe, and I think it's to do with the way things were worded, the amount of people who saw the De'Aaron Fox report and were like, oh, so he'll just play the next 3 games then and he'll play until he has the surgery on Tuesday. No, he won't. It was staggering that I saw many people saying that. They said, well, they announced he's having surgery on Tuesday. Go, oh, so he'll play out the week and then he'll have his surgery. No, he's done. That's season over. That's like, if you announce a season-ending surgery, that means that your season is over. I have never once in my entire life heard a team or a player announce, hey, I'm having a surgery. I'm just going to keep playing up until that, and then I'll go to the hospital the next day. Unless I just get completely bamboozled with this, I've never seen anyone ask that question, nor have I ever seen it occur. But it was multiple people yesterday. I think it's just because they said, hey, De'Aaron Fox is having surgery. The surgery's Tuesday. So people just went, all right, so I guess he'll just play till then. No, that's not what's happening. But again, maybe. I don't think so. It's not happening. Maybe. It's not. Let's take a look at outgoing back-to-backs, because I said we've got 7 teams playing a back-to-back coming into Saturday. We've got 3 teams playing a Saturday-Sunday weekend back-to-back. The Nets, which we've known about all these because the schedule hasn't changed. The Nets, the Bucks, and the Thunder. The Bucks, they haven't been sitting Yanni or Lillard, and I guess it's because there's been some, lack of form from some of these, or from that team in particular, so they are playing. The Thunder, Chet played the last back-to-back. I won't say he played particularly well in those games, but he did play. So I don't know that he sits here. And we know that Jalen Williams is probably out, but I don't know that for sure. And then the Nets, I would expect that Russell and Thomas sit one of each of those games. I would say there's an outside shot of Cam Johnson sitting one, and a very, 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 very outside shot of Nick Claxton sitting one of those games. Very outside. Let's talk chunks. But in the next 5 days, Saturday through to Wednesday, Wednesday's an 11-game day. So I'm not going to count that as a streaming day. I'm not going to count that as a useful chunk day. So I've got 6 names here of some teams that play 3 games over that 5-day period, which is in reality is a 4-day period. But then some guys who only played 2 games, whose value is good enough, and they're rostered in under 30% of leagues that you might want to look at. Ziaire Williams and Keon Johnson from the Nets have 3 games over that period in 4 nights. That is useful enough. Now, they're bad, especially Keon. He is terrible at the moment. But given on the weekend, we're probably going to get a Russell sit and a Thomas sit, and likely not the same day. Johnson should be able to get 60 minutes combined over the weekend, then play his 20 the one after. Williams has been getting 30 minutes a night most nights. That enough that'll elevate, but his usage may elevate in those 2 games that those other guys sit, and if Johnson sits, a little bit more there. But there are 3 guys, or the other 3-game guy I want to talk about is Moses Moody. If Podziemski does return, that will impact him for sure. But there is also the possibility that Kuminga sits one of their back-to-backs coming up, or their back-to-back coming up as he just returned. So that could boost Moody. Moody's not anything more than a stream guy, but if you're going to stream and you're going to do it in little chunks, which is the name of this section, this is the time to do it. Then there are 3 2-game guys, all under 30%, and all have an elevated role over this period. Donovan Clingan, Trey Jones, and Fanapants Kevin Huerter. Because Lonzo Ball I expect to be out. Josh Giddey, by the way, after they listed him doubtful the last time, he's out again. Oh, shocking. It's almost like the injury report people lie continually for whatever reason. I've got no idea. But anyway, Giddey's out, Ball is out, so you're going to get big minutes of Huerter and Jones across this time frame, and their 2 games is useful enough when we're looking at this period of time. From Saturday, which is what we're talking about, through to Friday, the 5s and 2s, there is no team playing 5. There is one team with a 2-game schedule. So just be aware if you're clamoring to grab yourself an Atlanta Hawk player. Maybe that is George Niang. Maybe that is the Night Watchman, Mohamed Waiayugeh. Maybe it's George Niang. Maybe if you've got suffered some sort of trauma in your past, maybe it's Terrence Mann. Maybe it's the Trojan Domi Barlow. Maybe for some reason you're hanging on to Clint Capella. They've got 2 games. Okongwu hold, Daniels hold, Trey hold. And we can talk at length, and I do, about the Mavericks 2-game week next week because it's bad, right? But we're also talking about a 2-game period here for the Hawks. So Dyson, Trey, and Okongwu, we hold. The other guys, 2 games in 7 nights, they're not good enough for that. Levert, not good enough. So again, we are so anti-calendar here. We're so anti-calendar. We may as well be Ethiopian, just run our own style of date keeping. But we need to look at every little individual period because that's great for a weekly matchup, and it's important when how we use our moves for a weekly matchup because the moves reset every 7 days on the Monday, yes? But in terms of how we're attacking each little period of the schedule, every day that passes, the value of players based on schedule changes. And right now, Saturday, onwards, the Hawks have 2 games. So your fringe guys, you can easily move off of some of these players. And again, if you're in a lower move environment, you can get more value just from other players. And that's one of those things that the mainstream media hides from you. MSM lies, telling you that it's the Mavs with 2 games. And it's actually the Hawks here as well. Yeah, a little bit of sneaky stuff for the Hawks with 2 games over the 7 days. A lot of that was sarcasm, clearly. But they do have 2 games. So that is important, I think, to be able to know. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That is $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, and even who might be cutting down the nets. Is it going to be Duke now that Cooper Flagg's injured? Yeah, I don't know about that. You can pick the favorites. Duke, maybe not. Pick whoever's playing against Duke. Maybe yes. Underdogs, colors, mascots, towns, states, north, south, east, west, whatever you want to do, you can do it. all over on FanDuel. Just make sure you win that first $5 bet, because if you do, you get $200 in bonus bets, and then you can spread that wherever you want. So go to FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long, and don't forget to gamble responsibly. Okay, so now that we've done our schedule-based action, maybe we should talk injuries. That would be good. Some key statuses to watch. We're going to watch Brooklyn for Russell and Thomas. Not that I don't think that D'Angelo Russell and Cam Thomas are going to sit, because I do. What I want to know is when they're going to sit. Because what they did last time, I think it was, is Thomas played Monday, sat Tuesday, Russell sat Monday, played Tuesday. Is that what they do again? Russell out on Saturday? That's how I'm projecting it at the moment. Or they could do the thing where they both play together, then both sit together. I don't know. But we have to watch it. I put just the Celtics there because I didn't want to fill up 3 pages with Porziņģis, with White, with Holiday, with Tatum, with Horford. They're all at risk of sitting one of either Friday or Saturday. Pascal Siakam popped up on the injury report for the Pacers. They've got a back-to-back. They're calling it bursitis. Well, they're probably calling it bursitis because it is bursitis, I guess. Although, if it was Memphis, I'd never be sure. That's a risk, obviously, and if he would be out, it would be actually useful to use Obi Toppin. And Jarris Walker, hello, gets an opportunity in other spots as well. Deeper leagues, of course. Jaren Jackson, old Lazarus himself. Is he going to be available for both of the games for the Grizzlies? Seems, again, incredibly unlikely. But I don't know. Somehow he's healthy-ish. Don't know. Anyway. Watch that. I don't think Aldama's playing. Brandon Podziemski, they said that there was a chance he returns this week. Saturday is the last game this week, so I would have to think he's a fairly good shot of returning. But we need to watch it, because him being out means that Kuminga, means that Moody, means that Hield all get boosts. I don't know that Podziemski runs straight back into that starting lineup, but honestly, if he was dropped, I wouldn't rush to grab him. Some other injury statuses for us to look at. A couple in New Orleans, because this opens up a ton. Yves Missi and Kelly Olynyk. Missi with an ankle injury. Olynyk was out for personal reasons. And we know that means that Carlo Makovic was the starter. And that Mo Bamba played 25 ineffectual minutes. And I would be very, very happy to have Makovic on my roster at this point. Because when we're talking about this stage, there are so many things that can change and go wrong. We want to look at probabilities and likelihoods. Right? On this one here, we have got the possibility that Missi and Olynyk sit. That's one outcome. Both of them out. There's the possibility that Missi sits. There's the possibility that Olynyk sits. And there's the possibility that they both play. So in 3 of those 4 scenarios, Makovic is useful for 12-team leagues. Now, it might be one of those ones where they both play. Makovic plays 18 minutes and he's completely useless. I understand that. But when talking about balancing probabilities, when 3 of the 4 possible outcomes suggest that Makovic is a 12-team worthy player, then you treat him as a 12-team worthy player. The last one there is Aaron Gordon dealing with the calf issue. Does he play Friday or Saturday? The Lakers are sitting a bunch of guys on Friday. Luka's out, so maybe Gordon takes that one off and plays Saturday. At the moment, I have Gordon projected out on Saturday, but that could easily change. Of course, we know that things change very quickly. Let's do streaming. Let's talk about points leagues. Let's talk about Yahoo points. Then let's talk about ESPN points for Saturday's games. We'll start with a couple of Bulls. Again, no Lonzo, no Giddey, no Dosunmu. So that means that these players, Trey Jones and Kevin Huerter, and the Bulls are going to be an absolute masterclass study in throwing out post-All-Star break stats when we're prepping for next season. Because you're going to see Trey Jones with numbers. You're going to see Kevin Huerter with numbers. You're also going to see, and this is going to be contrary to what you think I am, you're also going to see terrible numbers from Nikola Vucevic, which will not be representative of what he does next season until he gets traded to the Sacramento Kings for Domantas Sabonis. But you are going to see bad numbers from Vooch, and that might actually push him down too far. It won't, because people are full Danish backhand on that guy. So it might not, but it could, because he's been, honestly, over the last 3 months, Vooch has not been a top 60 player. So I don't know how this stretch here has been obviously horrendous over the past 4 weeks. So does that make him go down too low? I think that's possible, but the Bulls are playing bad teams. They're trying, for some reason, with a bunch of players out who aren't going to be a part of things necessarily moving forward, and it's going to skew values. But you don't care about that. You're talking streaming. So yeah, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, let's go. Keyshawn George in Washington. I am putting Scotty Pippen here, and it's not with confidence. But the recent pattern from Taylor Jenkins and the Grizzlies is he's just playing 25 minutes again now. He was down to out of the rotation, playing 12 minutes, playing 11 minutes. But he's back to 25, even when Kennard and Morant are healthy. Will Jaren returning change that and they squish guys down? It is possible. But I'm sort of into it. And I don't really feel comfortable with it. But it's interesting, especially with them on a back-to-back. They're coming in Friday into Saturday. They play the Cavs on Friday, so they'll go bigger there, and then Saturday maybe a little bit less. I just think that there is, with Vince Williams likely out as well, I think there's just a little bit there for Scott to do more. It's risky. I've got Justin Champagnie of the Wizards, who is going to play 30 minutes a night, I would say most nights down the stretch. And then I do have Luke Cornett because of the expectation the Celtics rest 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 starters. Honestly, anyone could be out, and Cornett is going to benefit from a lot of those guys being out. And when I say a lot of them, he doesn't need all of them to be out. He just needs Horford to be out, or Porziņģis to be out, or both to be out, or Tatum to be out, or Tatum and Horford to be out, or Tatum and Porziņģis to be out. Because he can play the 4, he plays the 5. He's their preeminent big man coming off the bench and will fill in many different areas there. And he's available everywhere. For ESPN leagues, we do have Trey Jones and Scotty Pippen up the top there. Again, the risk that there is a risk in Scotty Pippen, but I think it's a calculated risk. I've got Juice McBride there, Keyshawn George, Justin Champagnie, and Luke Cornett. Juice McBride has been pretty good most of the time here. Someone corrected me the other day when I said that it had been 2 bad games to start with Brunson out with McBride, and they were correct. I was wrong. What it was is that McBride played a lot of minutes in the game that Brunson got hurt. He played like 32 minutes in that game and was terrible. And then the next game when Brunson was out, he was also terrible. And then he was good after that. So that was my bad. I was conflating the terrible game he had in the one that Brunson got hurt versus being 2 games that he was terrible when Brunson was actually out. So my bad on that. I was wrong on that. But McBride's been pretty good. The problem with McBride is that Brunson is going to return, and they were in an incredibly light period of the schedule. But in terms of single game streams, we do it. Keyshawn George is there, Justin Champagnie is there, both those guys with pretty strong value ROS. And then Lukey Cornett for all of the reasons that I just explained to you. We're going to come back and talk category leagues. I'm going to break them down into individual categories as well. But today's episode is also brought to you by the big fellas over at Monarch Money. I know that you do this because we all do it. I do it. You check your bank account and you go, what's that? What came out? Why is my bank account there? Where to go? Dining out, online shopping, entertainment. It's easy to lose track of all that stuff, and that is where Monarch Money comes in. It is your personal CFO. It gives you full visibility and control over your finances. But it's not just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money, but you start building your wealth. You get insights into where the money's going. You get an ability so you don't have to look at multiple different apps. It all just gets funneled into that one spot. So you don't have to open and remember passwords and, hey, here's my text message code to re-in for 2FA and here's my face. Bloody, it's all in one spot. So you don't have to worry about all that stuff. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That is monarchmoney.com. The code is LOCKEDONNBA for half off for your first year. All right, let's look at points streaming. For category leagues, the points category. I'm hitting different roster percentage numbers, which should cover a bunch of different league sizes. We are going red here. Old Bluey himself, Fanapants, Kevin Huerter, Aaron Wiggins, Oklahoma City. He was terrible last game, but what he does is score. And he will have some games where he's terrible, and there's been a few of those in a row, but he's going to have that pop game at some point. And we're talking probabilities. It's never about certainty, especially on single game stuff. Harrison, oh no. Oh, where's my thing? Oh, sorry, pause time. What I meant to say was, the pencil, Harrison Barnes. Early morning Barnesy. Barnesy! He's not an exciting option, ever. But 17 points, 21 points, 14 points is enough there, just for points, with everyone out, everyone being Fox and Wemby, that he'll just do a little bit more. I've got GG Jackson then. I don't feel good about that at all. I feel less good about that than I did with Scotty Pippen. Because GG is obviously not a very good player. Obviously. I think that's obvious to everybody that and people do get this confused, and I'm going to provide, again, a caveat/context. At this point in his life, GG Jackson is not a good NBA player by NBA standards. That does not preclude him from becoming a good player. I think he might struggle to become a very, very good player, but whatever. At this point, he is not good. He might become good. He might become average. At the moment, he is not good. But that does not stop someone like GG Jackson in a game where Aldama might be out, Jaren may not play, Vince might be out, him starting playing 30 minutes and then having a game where he shoots 65%, has 21 points on 17 shots. Definitely a possible outcome. So we look to that. But all that could change if, say, Jaren does play and Aldama makes a miracle return and then Williams sits Friday, plays Saturday. Not going to happen. But all those things could happen and take it away. But at the moment, I don't think Jaren plays. Santi doesn't play. And Vince doesn't play. So it's going to be a lot of GG. And that makes him very interesting from a points streaming perspective. But it's risky. Bubbles Carrington. He should be okay for scoring. He's not heavily rostered because I don't think that he's 100% a must-roster guy. But he's useful. And then, again, this is incredibly risky too. Because the big fella, I think, had 1 point last game. Keon Johnson. But instead of 18 minutes, does he play 29 because one of, or both, Russell and Thomas are out? He's useful. He's considerable. I would look at his teammates, Zaire Williams, Tyrese Martin, as other options as well. But Keon is there, and that's how the projections came out for that one. For 3-pointers, we're still going Bluey. Old mate Kevin Huerter. Slamming Sammy Hauser, whose value is a little bit baked into the fact that somebody is going to sit. Is it Brown? Is it White? Is it Holiday? Is it Tatum? Is it Horford? Is it Porziņģis? Is it 3 of those guys? Could Hauser sit one of them? It's possible too. He's not going to drop that 33-pointer with 9 threes. Unlikely, but option. Lou Dort, been a very good 3-point shooter. Bad at everything else on offense, but he's been a very good 3-point shooter. Julian Champagnie, that's the San Antonio one. There is extra shots available with Fox out. I'm not saying that Julian is a must-roster player. He's fringy, but there's nice threes. Dunky Robinson, that is all he does. And then Bub Carrington, again, is a worthy 3-point stream option. For assists, it is the one and only Trey Jones. That has to be him. He will rack up assists. Him and his brother will just get assists until they die. That's all they do. Well, that's not true, actually. Trey's doing a little bit more. Shoot threes, never heard of him. Won't do it. Assists, scoring's been pretty good. Bubbles Carrington, and I'm mentioning Bub a lot here. Anyway, Bub's there. Scott Pippen's there. Jose Alvarado. They are still only giving him 25 minutes. The last couple of games he's been worth it. Hasn't been worth it all the way through the last 2 weeks, though. But there's enough there. Luke Kennard and Timothy John McConnell. Even though guys will be all playing, it is a back-to-back. So just watch that on the Pacers. You never know if there's a random sit happening, and TJ could do it. Steals, I'm going to the other Champagnie. The starting Champagnie. Justin Champagnie, Wizard Champagnie. He's a very good steals rate guy this season. He's an incredibly high block rate guy this season. He's an incredibly high rebound rate guy this season. He's also improved his free throws significantly. He's been great. He's a must-roster player. But he's like rostered in 10% of leagues or something. Something incredibly low. Add him. Jose Alvarado, we know what he does. Scott Pippen, again, all the risk factors that I mentioned before. Kevin Huerter, Lou Dort. What you know about those two is you're going to get 32 minutes, probably. You might get 39 out of Dort. You've got minutes baseline value, and Dort's obviously a good steals guy. And then there's the other big fella, Trey Jones, in there for steals also. I'm not going to put Trey Jones on the thumbnail list. He's been on too many of them, but maybe, who should we put on the thumbnail? Do we do Carrington? Let's throw Bubbles on there. Oh, nah, let's do Fanta Pants. Let's go red. Free throws, Duck, Luke Kennard. Duncan Robinson, Bubbles Carrington, Dennis Schroeder, Julian Champagnie, and Cameron Payne for those of you in the deep, dark recesses of deep leagues. For rebounds, yeah, Justin Champagnie's up here because I feel good about him playing 30 minutes. The other rebound guys are either higher minutes, low per minute rebounders, or high per minute rebounders, low minutes. So Justin Champagnie, you feel good about the floor. Steven Adams, you feel great about the ceiling, but what if he plays 12 minutes? He's been playing a lot more recently. Zaire Williams, you feel good about the minutes floor. Luke Cornett, you feel good about the per-minute rebound upside. Day'Ron Sharpe, you feel good about the per-minute rebound upside. Rashawn Holmes, you feel good about the per-minute rebound upside. If Holmes gets 23 minutes, we could get a double-double here. If Holmes gets and plays 16 minutes, or they play Vukcevic over him, then he might get 7. Whereas your Zaire and your Champagnie, you'll probably get 30 minutes out of them, and you might get 7 with an upside of 9. Whereas Adams could get 6 with an upside of 13. That's, again, the different approaches and how you want to approach risk and your risk tolerance. For blocks, I'll be honest, it's a little dry. Luke Cornett, Bismack Biyombo, Peyton Watson, Matas Buzelis, who was taken over by Julian Phillips last game. Not sure that'll be the thing that happens moving forward, but it is worth noting. Carlo Makovic, who would rocket up this list if Misi and Olynyk were out, and Justin Champagnie. I'll just quietly throw the name Mo Bamba in there as well. Just in case those other guys, Misi and Olynyk, are out, Bamba would be very much a play because, again, actually, here we go. If you are in a non-dynasty league, is Mo Bamba on your waiver wire? No, actually, no, that'll leave too many comments. Although that might be good for the algorithm. Tell me, is Mo Bamba on your waiver wire? Yes or no? No, tell me if Mo Bamba is rostered in your league. If you're in a non-dynasty. And I just, surely, we get one person we might get? I'll be very intrigued. Field goal percentage, Lukey Cornett. Again, we're banking on multiple people being out. Rashawn Holmes, Brandon Clark, Bismack Biyombo. There's always going to be the random guard in there, and this time it's Gary Payton, and then TJ McConnell could be in that spot as well. And then Steve Adams. Talk about my stream plan, which again, it got dicked because I tried Cole Anthony in one of the test slot streams, and then he sat out one of the games. But that's okay, we still persist. So now we're looking at back-to-back Saturday, Sunday, which I need for my 1-slot stream plan, and I've got 2 of those spots open, and I need it for my 2-slot stream plans, and I've got 2 of those spots open as well. So the 2 guys I'm going to put in is the Hong Kong mattress Carson Wallace and Zaire Williams. But I've got 4 other names there to look at. Keon Johnson, Lou Dort, Aaron Wiggins, and the artist formerly known as Torian Prince. But the guys I'm going to track are Carson Wallace and Zaire Williams. I just wanted to give you some other names there. Also, and that is all I'm going to give you for today, unless you pay extra fees. We are here National Kansas Day again. Lawrence, Manhattan, everyone else in Kansas, shout out barbecue sauce. And I want you to shout out your favorite barbecue sauce in the comments. That's a lot of requests I'm giving you, is it? Come from Kansas, Mo Bamba rostered. And what's your favorite barbecue sauce? That's okay. I know you guys are up to it. Thumb up, leave comments, like all those answers there. Do all that stuff, guys. We are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.